Hey guys, happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Lives. So this week, we are going to be talking about a personal ZIN story. So I had a ZIN member message me personally and ask me to discuss what happened to them during their class while they were working. So they are a new ZIN member, and unfortunately, they didn't have a really good experience in terms of what happened as they're starting to conduct their classes. So I'm going to read the story that the ZIN member messaged me, and then we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Okay. So unfortunately, it's not always super happy, but it does happen, as with everything in life, right? So I'm going to read the story, and then we're going to go into it. So this is the message that I got. Okay, so, hi Nadine, I don't know whether you're still looking for ideas for your Facebook Live videos, but I just had an experience as a new instructor that others might be able to relate to. Yesterday, I taught my second class ever. This one was as a sub at a gym. Less than 5 minutes into a routine, a lady walked out of the class. She came back after the class was over to say sorry for leaving, but that it was too difficult. I wish I had asked her more about what specifically she found difficult, but I just thanked her and told her that it was fine. My manager at the gym suggested that I may want to look at my routines and try to incorporate more repetition in the steps. As a new instructor, this really shook my confidence. I'm subbing 3 classes this coming week, and now I'm worried about whether my routines are too difficult to follow. I go to Zumba classes regularly as a participant and know it's normal to feel a bit lost when you're doing a brand new routine. Brand new routine. At the same time, I want to grow as an instructor, and if my routine is actually too difficult, I want to fix it. I want people to enjoy their Zumba experience as much as I do. I've invested hours learning my current routine, so I don't know whether to try and simplify the songs I already know or just try to select more repetitive songs when the time comes to swap songs out. Okay. I found your videos really helpful as an instructor, and I thought you might have input on this. Okay. So, first of all, the ZIN member requested that I don't say the name, so thank you so much for reaching out to me with this problem. So we're going to discuss that now. So to sum it up, the ZIN member is subbing a class. Somebody walked out of the class and then came back later, said it was, apologized for leaving, and said it was too hard, too difficult to follow. So now this is something that obviously it's going to shake your confidence a little bit, right? You're excited, you're going to teach your class, you have your playlist ready, you've been practicing, you nailed it, you go to the class and you see people leave. So that obviously does not feel nice for all people, right? So so here's my kind of analysis and on what I think about that scenario. So Zumba is a freestyle program. The beauty of a freestyle program is that you're able to bring in your own personal touch in terms of your song selection, in terms of the movements that you're doing, et cetera, for teaching your classes. So you really get to showcase your personality during your class, right? And that's the beauty of the class. That's why there is a Zumba class for everyone, yes? So when it comes to subbing, now the participants may not be used to maybe used to one thing, and then you show up and you're another thing, and that's not bad. That's not that bad thing. Everybody is different and has something different to offer in terms of their classes. Now Zumba gives you a lot of great songs and choreography and resources to develop your playlists. Yeah, so you can pick and choose songs that mix and match into a great playlist, and you can do them from the ZIN volumes, from the Mega Mix volumes, from the jam sessions that you attend, from what you learn at convention to the classes you take on the cruise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's lots of different places you can pull and create a really, really effective class, right? So that being said, you do all that stuff, you go to class, and somebody leaves, and you're just like, how do I win? Like, what do I do to please everybody, right? And unfortunately, you're not always going to please everybody. And when you're asking I really, really, really like that the ZIN member reached out to me and to the Zumba community for this issue, because a lot of the times, and I've experienced this myself, our superiors in the gym don't know anything about Zumba. They just know it exists, and they just know it's quote unquote fun, and they just know that it has a following. So they don't really know anything about it. So when you go and try and ask, you see your little hearts, yes. So when you go and try and ask your superiors at your gym and you're saying, okay, I have this issue, what do I do? And they go, oh, make it more simple because she said it was complicated. When in reality, they're not ZIN members. They probably maybe don't take Zumba. Maybe they don't like Zumba, whatever the case is, but they are not the right person to ask, right? So the people you want to reach out to are, of course, your ZIN community, your Zumba community. So your ZJs, your ZESs, the ZIN Facebook page is really, really great to go in and ask and stuff like that, and you get opinions from around the world in terms of what you're doing, right? So other than that, when you ask your superiors that are really outside of the Zumba community and outside of the knowledge of what this program really is, take their opinions with, like, not a grain of salt, like take it with like a salt shaker, because they might not necessarily know, quote, for lack of better words, they might not really know what they're talking about, right, when they tell you to do a certain thing a certain way, right? So all they can do is take the feedback they got from their client and then say, okay, she said it was complicated, so do it this way now. Does not really help, right? So also, everybody is different. You don't know what was going through that person's head when they needed to leave, right? Maybe they just had the worst day of their life and they came to class and their instructor wasn't there, and now they're just frustrated because they knew all that instructor's choreo and now you're subbing, and it's just like, some people have shut their brains off before they even got there. So it might really not be an issue with you. It could have been any other sub in any other choreo that they don't know, and they come in, and if it's not what they're expecting and not what they're used to, then they're not happy, right? So there's just a few comments. I'm just gonna read them through. Hi everyone, lots of hellos. Hi guys. Okay, Alexander, right? I think every trainer and ZIN is different, and I think it's great that the great thing, and that's the great thing about Zumba, and it makes Zumba what it is. Exactly, right? So yes, Zumba is very versatile, very diverse. You're able to take and choose rhythms, and you know what? We only have 60 minutes. So in most Zumba classes, some are 45 or 30 or whatever, but in most Zumba classes, it's 60 minutes. You're gonna put in all these rhythms, like you get. It's great that you have the freedom to pick and choose, and you have the resources. You have jam sessions, you have ZIN volumes, you have mega mix choreos, you have all this cool stuff. So you get to select and choose what you like and what you want to teach. So if this happens to you and you see people walk out, then it's not necessarily a reflection of you, right? Another way a surefire way to have no doubts about your choreographies and the stuff that you're putting in your class is to put the stuff that Zumba has given you, right? Zumba says this is useful for your class. So you can do it in terms, like, from your ZIN volumes, from your mega mixes and jam sessions, right? Because those are good routines that are developed simply enough that there's enough of a learning curve, but that you can overcome that learning curve as a participant relatively quickly, right? But when you're subbing, this, of course, is quite difficult because you never know what's going on through the participant's head. And I've had this myself where I go and sub a new class and they don't know me, and I show up and I'm just like, hi guys, I'm Nadine, da 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 da, and they're like, well, where's so-and-so? And I see, like, I literally get the, where's so-and-so, like the regular instructor. And that's really hard to, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I didn't even start and you already don't like me, you know? So it's a really, really hard thing to kind of, to deal with as a new instructor or as a sub, you know? But the take-home scenario of this is to just not get discouraged. You know, if it's your superior at the gym, and I did follow up with the person who sent me the story, and their superior is not a quote-unquote Zumba professional. They're not an instructor, nor are they certified, nor do they. So really, does their advice really, like, do they know what they don't take Zumba, they're not certified in Zumba, they don't, you know what I mean? So like, how can their input really help you grow as an instructor, right? So it says, remember, I'm very, very happy that you reached out to me with that story, because I know we can all relate to that, right? And I myself can relate to it as well. The only thing I can say, people really like consistency, right? They really, really, really like consistency in their class. And we're people. Sometimes we need subs. So if it comes to the case where we need a sub and you come in and save the day and sub the class, because like I said, people like consistency, and now you're breaking that consistency a little bit, even though you're saving the class and you're breaking that consistency a little bit, some people are not going to react. Like, it's not always going to be smooth sailing, right? And that's going to be the same as when you're teaching your regular class and maybe I come in and sub it, they're going to be like, well, where's so-and-so? You know what I mean? Like, they're expecting a certain thing, and when it doesn't happen, sometimes they're a little bit turned off until they start, and maybe hopefully you win them back, maybe they walk out, whatever the case may be, right? But the key thing about this scenario is to not get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. This is going to happen. This type of thing is going to happen in every type of scenario and any type of work that you do. All right. So in terms of teaching Zumba classes, somebody walks out. Yes, that is likely going to happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to many, many instructors I know. And it happens more often when you're not the regular instructor, when you're subbing, right? So if this is what happens to you, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. It's usually a consistency thing. So you're breaking that consistency a little bit. You come in and they're not what you're expecting. So sometimes people don't want to deal with the learning curve of your playlist, even if it's a Zumba play, like entirely a Zumba playlist, fully Zumba approved, or you got everything from a Jam or ZIN volume or Mix, and it's all really, really adherent to the Zumba formula. Sometimes just the mere fact that you are not what they're expecting will tweak them off of being in that class, right? And that's not a reflection of you as a person or you as an instructor or the choreos you're doing or how you're doing them. It's just a simple, it just happens, right? You don't know what's going through that person's mind prior to them entering the room. So it's not necessarily a thing where you can really reflect it on you, unless they, like this person in this story specifically came and said, okay, I found it complicated, and naturally there's a learning curve with everything, right? Maybe if you never heard the song before, doesn't know you as the instructor before, doesn't know the movements you're doing, of course it's going to be a little bit complicated. Everything is brand new, right? But if she does that song straight through, she'll see that it's been repetitive. You know, once you do the full song, you repeated the movements a few times, right? And then if you do the song again, let's pretend you're subbing again next week, or you come back, then it's not going to seem so complicated, right? So when you come to a Zumba class as a participant, there is going to be a bit of a learning curve, especially if you've never done Zumba before. That's just how, it is what it is. And that's when you do any type of class, you know, you're going to come and try something new. There's going to be like a little bit of learning curve, and then you'll get over it, right? So the only thing to take away from this scenario is that it's relatable. It happens to everyone. It happens to other ZJs I know. It's happened to myself. It's happened to Zesses I know. So it's not just a matter of like, oh, I suck and da-da-da. Like, don't think like that at all. Don't think like that at all. And unfortunately, a lot of the time our superiors in these gyms and stuff are not Zumba people. So they're not certified. They don't take classes, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And so their feedback might not be as valuable, right? So don't take it to heart. Don't take it personally. You just have to keep on going. Just keep on going. You know what? At the end of the day, you saved that class. You know, you really, really saved the class by subbing it. You know, if you did not show up to sub that class and no one else showed up to sub that class wouldn't be there, and that's what you have to take from it. And always always standing in front of a new crowd and doing something in front of a new crowd is nerve-wracking for anybody. So it's completely normal to feel that way. But take home message, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. You have so many resources, so many resources for music and choreography. You took your training. You know what's supposed to happen in the class. You know X, Y, and Z in a Zumba class. And if you're doing that, you can be confident in your class. You know, not everything is gonna run smoothly all the time. Just like life is not gonna run smoothly all the time. So definitely don't get discouraged. Just keep going. Keep subbing. The more people that see you, the more people are gonna love you. You know, so. Be confident in what you're doing. Don't take it in here. You don't know what's happening through those participants' head. You know, Zumba is so diverse, and so is our clientele. So maybe one person just can't handle learning something new that day because of how their day went, you know? And that's not a reflection of you. It could have been anybody standing there, and they would have said the same thing, right? So definitely don't get discouraged, and just keep going. The feedback that you get, make sure it's valuable feedback in terms of knowledgeable feedback. So if you're talking to your superior at the gym, make sure they're certified. You know, like take their opinion, of course, but know if they don't really know too much about the Zumba program and the Zumba formula, then maybe it's not the best place to reach out. And you have so many resources to reach out, right? So thank you to that ZIN member who sent me that story. I know it's very relatable to so many people, so I'm really glad you reached out to me. If there's other stories, please send them my way and we can discuss them. And because, you know, we're all doing this together. Right? It's all around the world, but we're all doing this together. So definitely send me any stories that you want me to discuss, and I will catch you next Friday. All right? So I'm going to be reposting this whole thing. So make sure you share and tag your friends that you think would benefit from this, and I will catch you guys next Friday. All right? Have a nice weekend.